And the winner of the 2014 Tasmania Small Business Award is Lark Distillery.
Thanks, Andrew. I'd just like to start with, can the people in the room that read the Mercury put your hand up? That's our local paper, that's most people, so you realise now that I'm not Bill Lark. Bill's in the Mercury pretty much every week. So, firstly, I just want to say thanks to Telstra for organising the awards. And they're an amazing opportunity, and we're honoured to have won an award. Thank you also to the judges. Congratulations to the other finalists. It really is an achievement to be in a handful of businesses in each category. In our category especially, we're ecstatic to be recognised amongst other great Tasmanian businesses, doing wonderful things in their markets, with their team and also the community as well. So Abe from Abe's Audio and Craig, Dr. Coffee, Rob, Award1 Energy, Paul and Lisa from Ronald Young & Co, and Steve, of course, from Red Velvet. So congratulations and thank you. So last night in our briefing session here that Telstra held for us, they asked us to get up in 30 seconds and describe a little bit about our journey in our business and also why we're awesome. And awesome, what a word that is. It really makes you think how our business is different. We didn't have any real time to prepare. And I think tonight all the businesses in the room here have a passion for what they do, have high quality in their products and services, and put that front and centre, and are all growing fast or trading globally as well. So what makes Lark awesome? It was probably a good thing that we were put on the spot. I came up with two main reasons that I feel that our company is awesome. That's innovation and pioneering. For me, to explain why I think innovation is at the heart of our business, I need to go back to the beginning of our journey. In 1991, Bill Lark had just finished a hard day's trout fishing in the Highlands near Bothwell with his father-in-law, Lynn's dad, Max. As they enjoyed a dram of whisky surrounded by the barley fields and the flowing gentle waters of the Clyde River, Bill remarked, "I wonder why there isn't anyone making malt whisky in Tasmania." So Bill, as our team over here know all too well, in his inquisitive way, went about searching for an answer soon after that. Bill found a piece of legislation in Australia that upon Federation we inherited from the UK. It was called the UK Distillers Act. The Distillation Act 1901 made it illegal for people in Australia to make small batches of whisky. So if you had a still, it needed to be at least 2,700 litres, otherwise you couldn't make spirit here in Australia. As determined as Bill was, he wasn't happy with that. It was the government's way of cracking down on backyard moonshiners. Bill wanted to start small, experiment and see if he could make great whisky. He spoke to his local MP, Duncan Kerr, who then went on to speak with his colleague in Canberra, Barry Jones, and thankfully Barry liked whisky. He also saw a flaw in that 90-year-old piece of legislation and promptly had it changed. So in 1992, 22 years ago, just as the Telstra Business Awards were starting as well, Bill and Lynn started their business at home, literally on the kitchen table. It was the first distillery to operate in Tasmania since 1839 in 153 years. Lark Distillery was the vision of Bill Lark, who realised that everything needed for a world-class whisky is on offer here in Tasmania. The highest quality barley, pure soft water, highland peat bogs, and perfect climate for maturation. Since then, the business has grown to a buzzing cellar door in Davey Street, literally 100 metres down the road here, where I think the after party is going to be. Go out the door, turn right, 100 metres on your left. An expanding distillery in the Coal River Valley next to the wonderful Frogmore Creek. For those that haven't dined at Frogmore, please do. We're now stocked in Dan Murphy's on the mainland. We've exported to France, US, UK and Japan. We are growing at a ferocious rate, especially in the last 4 years, to a point where a year ago Bill and Lynn welcomed new investors into the business to help the business through its next chapter of growth. I started as CEO in December, and in January of this year we acquired Old Hobart Distillery, which makes the award-winning Overeem whisky. which was also the first Australian whisky to be stocked in the prestigious Selfridges in London earlier this year. At the moment, we're doubling production, rebranding and packaging our award-winning gin, which Lynn Lark pioneered, along with all the other non-whisky spirits. Bill was tinkering away with the whisky, and Lynn went off and created all the non-whisky spirits, like our Tassie and our Slonge and our gin and vodka. Unfortunately, in our business, we have to wait 5 years for our whisky to mature. We're a little impatient, so we're now focusing on non-whisky areas for our growth, like the rebrand of the gin and the whisky tourism. We must use our scarce whisky resource we have maturing in the next 5 years wisely, ensuring firstly Tasmania is fully supplied while also innovating. While also innovating with the standout whiskies we have and ensuring and issuing our limited releases. For me, the reason why I say Lark is amazing is due to its innovation stems from that curious bearded surveyor, now whisky guru, Bill Lark. The core value of innovation, curiosity, tinkering, whatever you call it, lives in our business today. The whisky we make is world class, winning a lot of awards and wowing the Scots in the home of whisky. I think it's a good thing Bill isn't here tonight. I can shine a bit more of a light on his achievements and contribution, not only to the industry but also to Tasmania and Australia. This year, Lark won the inaugural Distiller of the Year here in Australia at Top Shelf in Melbourne. We won the Best Single Malt Whisky Strength in the world at the Chicago Spirits Award. Thank you. Late last year, Bill Lark was awarded the Tourism Minister's Tourism Champion Award as well. Like most successful pioneers, Bill wasn't just the first. He was a supportive pioneer, supportive of those that followed in his dram-soaked footsteps. In our industry, Bill is known as the godfather of Australian whisky. He has pretty much created the whisky industry here in Australia 22 years ago. In one way or another, he has helped almost all distilleries in Tasmania get off the ground, and most of the ones on the mainland as well. Bill's humble and giving nature has resulted in Tasmania ending up with an exciting, burgeoning and astonishing whisky industry. There are 9 distilleries in the state, and there's 2 or 3 being built at the moment. There are, on the mainland, they have 7 or 8. New Zealand doesn't even have 1. And Bill's philosophy of working together in industry... Are there any New Zealanders in the room? Just getting back at you with that Irish joke. And Bill's philosophy of working together in the industry, not against your competitors, has meant Lark has enjoyed even greater success. In March, I think a lot of people here may know, Sullivan's Cove won the mantle of the best whisky in the world, the first ever non-Scotch, non-Japanese whisky, which is phenomenal. What an achievement. The Scots have been making whisky for more than 500 years, the Japanese for about 90, and Australia for 22. Now, the world is hearing about the great whiskies we're making down here in Tasmania. Lark is testament to how an industry can work together where competitors aren't they're out there to fight each other, but to support one another, to raise the brand together. We hope to use the Telstra Award to encourage other businesses to similarly support their industries to promote the growth for everyone. And finally, I've run and owned a few fast-growing businesses myself. I know how hard it is to start, let alone grow a business. When I started in the CEO role late last year, I was extremely impressed with what Bill and Lynn had achieved, and especially with the team they'd put together over those 22 years. I knew how hard that was. We have around 18 people, with a few casuals to help in the extra busy times in summer and winter. From my experience in business in the last 15 years, you can have a great idea or product, an inspirational leader, or be the first to a market, but if you don't have an amazing team around you working tirelessly and with passion towards your vision, you won't get there. I'd like to take a moment to thank the entire Lark team, and especially those we have with us here in the room tonight. I'll run through a few in order, just quickly, in order of time they've been with us in the company. Christy Lark, who grew up from the age of 12 with a whisky distillery literally right outside her bedroom door. Kira, our operations manager, the quiet achiever, 12 years with us Tuesday last week. Happy anniversary. Ross, our sales manager, 7 years. Chris, our head distiller, almost 7 years. Nick, our tour manager, 5 years. Joe and the guys at the distillery, or the shed as we call it, the cellar door team. I read with delight every week the high customer service scores we get. and the more recent team members of Rob, Cassie, George, Jane and Katie. So thank you to our team, and thank you once again to Telstra and the judges for this honour. It truly is a privilege. Thank you.